What impresses you about Lexi's role and how it's kind of interchanged this year, but also the different things with her shooting and her defense this season?
I think first and foremost, just the way that she approaches the game. I mean, she's a pro. She continues to get better, and I think the ultimate compliment to any player is that, they never give you a reason to take them off the floor, and that's Lexi. I mean, she's always working her tail off on the defensive end, doing all the little things that it takes to position us for success. She's continued to improve on the offensive end of the floor, and she plays her butt off every single minute, every single second that she's out there.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Danta's, her impact in your game today, and how her absence the next couple weeks are is going to impact?
Yeah, I mean, what Dee brings, to our team is such a different viewpoint than AB. Certainly, her ability to stretch the floor, to use her in a pick and pop, to defend, multiple looks. She's experienced. She's experienced, and she can play inside, outside. We're going to miss using her as a complement to AB. Because it does give opponents such a different look. We're going to miss, her. She leads by example. She doesn't make a lot of mistakes. She goes out there and she continues to make big shots for us and make impacts for us. And so we're going to miss her. Certainly supportive of her opportunity that's in front of her. And I think having a veteran like Dee on a young team for Brazil is going to give her a great opportunity to grow from a leadership standpoint as well. And we'll wish her the best.
Obviously, there were reports today that DB isn't or doesn't intend to return to the team. Just what conversations have you had with her and with the front office about that?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of conversations recently. Really been focused on the group that we have right here and what we need to do to position ourselves to win.
Coach, how do you guys defend the lethal pick and pop that Skylar and present to you guys against the team?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you have to try to give them different looks. We have to be able to adjust depending upon what they're getting out of it. Our point of attack and ball screen defense has to be elite, and it's got to be consistent. Those are two not just elite players, but two veterans who understand how to make adjustments, who understand how to read one another. They're surrounded by players who do a really good job of reading them as well. They're dangerous. And so, we know that it's going to be tough to stop it, so we just have to make it as difficult as possible.
Piggybacking on the problems that Seattle has or causes, they always seem to create a size advantage with the addition of Dominique. What impresses you about how she's learned to guard or play against some of the best forwards in the game, and how does that kind of influence how you play her today?
Well, I think international players are so unique because they've been playing professionally for a long time. Right? They have experience. They've played against the best players in the world. They've played against the best players, professional players in their youth leagues as well. And so they're almost like veterans in that sense. And when you come to the W, while the look might be different, you've been playing against elite players your whole life, so there's no fear factor. She's incredibly skilled. I think the one thing is probably the strength aspect of it because she is still young. But I mean, she's a problem. She's a problem, and we've got to make sure that we make things difficult for her when she comes to the game as well.
Yeah, obviously we talked with you last year when you were here in Seattle just about being here and the legacy we have with Sue and so many other greats just to come to a basketball town like this. I'm sure you get this question every city, but what's it like playing in this arena in this city?
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite arenas in the league. I think it's just a great basketball arena. I played here in college and then obviously professionally now. A lot of really good fans in this city that love supporting women's basketball, so it makes a lot of fun to come here and play. And obviously, they've had a lot of success here. So, growing up and watching Storm and everything that they've been able to do makes it really fun being able to come here.
How much do you like it in terms of familiarity and sight lines and having played here before? How much does that help you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it always helps you a little bit when you have played in an arena before. When it's your first time, you're trying to get your bearings a little bit and. That's why you like playing at home because, that's what you're used to. You're used to practicing there. You've played the most games there. So when you go on the road, it's a little bit different. But the more experience you get in certain arenas, the better it's going to be for you.
they're expecting a sellout here tonight, and that kind of thing has followed you obviously a lot in terms of those kind of crowds. I'm just wondering, does that become normal at a certain point, or do you become sort of numb to that at any point, or is that always kind of different and get the adrenaline pumping in front of that kind of environment?
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't become numb to it. I think it's something that is really, really fun no matter where you go on the road. And, every crowd is different. Whether we're, obviously in Golden State, I felt like that was definitely more of a true road game for us. And now here, I feel like it's a lot of really just great basketball fans. And, they have a great fan base here too. So I think it's different every place we go. And always a lot of young boys and young girls, which makes it really fun. And, they always have a great crowd here, no matter if we're playing or not. But I think certainly for myself, anytime we go on the road and people spend a lot of time and money to be able to come to games, and they're not just from Seattle, they're traveling from all different parts of the country to come and watch us, I think is really special. So you try to give them the best show you can, but I'm expecting a really good game tonight.
Caitlin, you probably got this question a lot too. What kind of things have you learned from playing with Lexi on the offensive side of the ball, and impressed you sharing the defensive side of the ball with her?
Yeah, I think offensively, I think she's one of the best cutters in the league. I think she cuts really well. High basketball IQ player. I think that speaks to the way she's able to cut and move without the ball. She's never going to stop moving. She screens well. I think her offensive game has taken quite a few steps forward this season, which is really exciting, and she's put a lot of time in. So as one of her teammates, it's really amazing to see. And I think defensively, it's really along the same lines. I think she just competes every single play. She never takes possession off. She gets the toughest matchup every single night, and she steps up to the challenge. And she's active, she's long. I don't think she always gets enough credit for the way she defends and really competes on that end of the floor, and it makes a real big difference for us.
Caitlin, when Steph and Sophie talked earlier, two words that they mentioned a lot were intentional and being consistent, and that's been a focus this week. Just what's your perspective on that as you prepare for this game?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think obviously the last two have been disappointing, but I think that's kind of been the message for our team is, you have another opportunity to go out there and improve and get better. And I really did think we played a pretty good game in Vegas minus the fourth quarter, and it was kind of that same thing. And versus Golden State of, just finding a way to execute for 4 quarters and maintaining leads. That's kind of, been a little bit of our struggle all year long, whether we've won games or whether we've lost games. So, be consistent in everything that we do. There's going to be some turnovers, there's going to be things like that, but, we can't do that when the game's really close and every single possession matters. And I think when we went back and watched the film, especially from the Vegas game, we just made it really hard on ourselves to win with the errors we made offensively and defensively, as we basically had to play a perfect game in that fourth quarter to still win. So that's the reason I play. I think that's when I'm at my best. It's like when I'm smiling, when I'm having fun. And so just, trying to always remind myself of that. And obviously, I'm an athlete competing at the highest level. I'm a perfectionist, and you want to be really good every single night. And, when you're not, that can frustrate you. But I think it's just reminding yourself of why you played this game and, how much fun we've had doing it over the course of, however many years it's been since you were a little kid. So I don't think that's changed at all. That's the reason I still play. This is what I've always dreamed of. So, for me, it's just fun. It's just a game at the day.
You are just, sorry. I was going to say, you are just doing what you love. Yeah, it's had the impact that it obviously has. There's going to be a bunch of your jerseys in the crowd. What does that mean? You're just doing what you love, but it's had the impact that it has.
Well, I just feel really fortunate. For me, this, at times I can't really believe this is my job because, a lot of people would kill to be able to play a sport or do something that they love every single day as, what they get to do for a living. So I think for myself, just remind myself of that, and the same goes, I try to make as much time as I can for people that show up and, come to these games, whether they're at home or on the road.